Hi everybody, Claire here. In this video, I'm going to talk about doing something because somebody said you should. Now, I see this advice so much out on the internet when people are talking about, accounting and bookkeeping, like a spreadsheet isn't good enough, or it's not your zone of genius, so save time for only the things you can do and outsource the rest, or even you'll probably need it anyway eventually, so you may as well just start paying the monthly subscription now. And my favorite is, of course, this bookkeeping software is so much easier, when we forget that we've been doing bookkeeping for 2 years. So maybe that's helped us make the transition and the learning curve a little bit shorter. So I've seen a few recently, as I said, from experts giving advice that really is unsolicited advice. And I know they mean well, but what's most annoying is these experts aren't even in the finance and accounting industry, so it's not necessarily the best advice. But when the advice comes from a guru or a mentor or even somebody we admire, we seem to forget they don't have an in-depth knowledge of our business and our circumstances. Obviously, if we're working with them, they do. That's an entirely different kettle of fish. But although this person probably has the best intentions, we need to make sure we review this advice through the lens of our business. And although we may aspire to outsource or to get the best bookkeeping package in the business, it may not be the best plan for our business at this moment. So what are the things we need to review when we see this advice? So the first thing is time versus money. If you're just starting out in business, I would suggest that there are a few hours somewhere in your schedule that would allow you to do this task, to learn this task, and to really get into the knees-deep detail of your business. And probably if you've just started, your cash flow wouldn't allow somebody else to get to the same level of detail. Now, there's a lot of ways we can keep ourselves busy, whether that's searching for the perfect stock image or the background music or a random keyword. Parkinson's law suggests a task expands to the time allocated to it, and the Pareto principle that 80% of what we output comes from 20% of our efforts. So where are you spending time that isn't the most effective time for you? Now, the busier you become with paid work or production, then of course you can consider spending some of that income on buying time-saving devices like automated services or outsourcing or equipment. But we need to remember that a change, particularly a significant change like outsourcing to somebody else or changing a software, requires time to manage the change, learn and adjust to the new ways, processes and systems. You don't just buy a new tool. So currently I want a gem cutting tool and expect to turn out a faceted marquee cut diamond in an hour. That's just not going to happen. We need to learn about the process and about the tool. And it's the same with bookkeeping software, or it's the same with outsourcing your bookkeeping to somebody else. You need to learn either the tool or how to work with that person, the specific processes, and if you're working with somebody else, they need to learn about your business, and all of that takes time. And also, I'd suggest if you are going to do this to save time, you do it with a specific intention of something to do with that time. That doesn't have to be spending more time in your business. It could be spending more time with family and friends, or just creating a better outcome, like with graphics if you're not good with graphics. But if you're just going to go back to an hour of wondering what to blog about because you've got blogger's block, that may not be the wisest investment. So the second thing would really urge you to review when you see this advice is it actually going to impact my underlying issues? So I hear the phrase all the time, I'm just not a numbers person, but is that attitude actually covering up money mindset issues and values around worth and money management? We all have money mindset issues, they just show up in different ways. So personally, I'm amazing at saving, but horrendous at spending money, even if that could save me time or create a product or outcome that is better. But outsourcing doesn't help me deal with these issues. Outsourcing my bookkeeping will not turn my tiny turnover into a megabox business. It'll not help me learn about bookkeeping, financial management, and it'll not help me learn about my business. When I'm knees deep in my business, the day-to-day operation and the financial management, I'm going to learn so much information about my business and every part of that business. So I should be able to answer the questions. Can I afford to invest in a new product line? New supplies? Can I afford to buy postage boxes in bulk? Will that be a good use of my cash flow? I should know that information without checking an external system or without having to ask somebody else, with an understanding of how I can access that information and how I can use it. You cannot just forget about the financial management side of your business when you outsource. So your "I'm not a numbers person" really is the first thing that needs to be addressed. You need to be responsible for your business, and that means all parts of your business, from creating and delivering products and services, marketing, finance, sales, and everything in between. You need to learn the systems and processes of your business, and you need to stay in touch with the details at every step and at every decision. And believe me, a well-designed, technically excellent spreadsheet can do a whole lot of cool stuff you never even knew you needed, as long as you work with the right person for the right purpose. Now, business is a constant cycle of learning, implementing, and reviewing. And part of that review is if you could subscribe to a software that could save you an hour a week or save you 6 hours a month, whether that's finance or social or admin, you need to be reviewing that as you go. But first, you need to understand your business requirements, your requirements as a business owner, and the resources you have available to you. Now, I ran a webinar last year talking specifically about whether you should outsource, so I'll include a link to that and to the full blog if you wanted to read this information. And until next week, I hope you have a good one.